I think I was 8 years old. The first time I actually seen somebody get like killed like 20 feet away from me. So it wasn't like no therapy sessions or anything like that. It was like, you know what I'm saying? Just man up, be the tough guy.
You're now listening to Street Success with Frank, Jalil, and Tony. Right now, we're going to dig in a little bit of Lil and his background, where he comes from, his upbringing, and kind of a story of, where he's at now and how he got here.
So, really quickly, tell me a little bit about yourself. How old are you? What have you been through? I know this segment's about streets to success. So, how did you end up, call it with air quotes, in the streets to where you are today? So, tell us a little bit about your background, how you ended up where you ended up at, and how you ended up where you are today.
So basically, I grew up in the Strawberry Mansion section in North Philadelphia.
Your whole life? Your whole life, Philly guy?
Yeah, my whole life.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, my whole life grew up in North Philadelphia. I went to public school, kindergarten, first grade, then eventually transferred to Catholic school from second to eighth grade. The streets played a lot into my choices. Looking at it now, I am a man. I made the decisions that I did make, so I take accountability for it now. But I blamed a lot of my upbringing on my environment. I consider it like a product of my environment.
Right.
Lil, what do you think that drew you to the streets? For people that don't know, how it's so accessible and it's just the cool thing, basically.
Yeah.
What drove you particularly to the streets?
Basically, what I seen in the environment, different flashy cars, the money, stuff like that. The guys that was selling all the drugs was getting all of the girls and stuff like that. Yeah. So basically, it was easier for me to turn that way because, basically where I'm from, therapy and the things that we seen and we've been through, it is not considered cool. You know what I'm saying?
Healing and doing the right thing and right.
Yeah, so none of that is considered cool. I mean, I think I was 8 years old. The first time I actually seen somebody get killed 20 feet away from me. So it wasn't like no therapy sessions or anything like that. It was like, you know what I'm saying? Just man up, be the tough guy. You know what I'm saying? Then by the age of 13, I watched my great-grandma, uncle, and my cousin burn in a house fire right in front of me. Nothing I could do to help them, you know what I'm saying? So I never went to therapy for any of that, and I let that influence a lot of my decision-making as well.
At what age do you think, if you look back and can put a time on it, that you actually turned to the streets? You're a good kid, you go to school. At what age is it this is the path that I'm choosing? Or is it everyone doing it and you don't even realize you're doing it? Or
Yeah, it was kind of like a norm. It wasn't considered illegal. It was you know what I'm saying? Everybody did it. Everybody, you know what I'm saying, sold drugs or, you know what I'm saying?
Did you have positive people in your life that didn't go that route?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I had a lot of my grandparents, both of my grandfathers, my grandmom.
Around your age?
Nah.
Where were your parents at during all this? Your mom and dad, were they in your life?
Yeah, so my dad was there, but of course he was running the streets. Good dad, not taking anything away from him, but you know what I'm saying? He was doing what he was doing. My mom was there, but 3 years after my grandmom and my cousin and my uncle died in a fire, my mom passed away when I was 16 in placement. So it was like my mom wasn't there because she passed away. Then my dad had his thing going on, so I was with my grandparents. Me and my siblings was raised by our grandparents.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
And how old were you when your mom passed?
16.
And that's what really like did it for you think?
Yeah, it was like, F it. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I lost 4 people back to back within a 3-year time frame. So it was like 4 close people to me. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, F it. Like I'm in the streets.
Not to self-incriminate yourself, but what type of things were you doing in the streets? Like, what were some of these activities that you were doing?
Everything. So we sold drugs, anything you could do as a kid to start off to initially go into the street, get eggs, throw eggs at the bus driver.
Yeah.
I mean, everything. But at the end of the day, I still maintain my morals. Certain things I wouldn't do, like I'm not robbing an old lady and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I never done anything to anybody that like they didn't expect it. Like it was a mutual agreement. Like if I had a problem,
an unwritten street code.
right?
Yeah.
Like if they had a problem with me and I had a problem with them, it was mutual. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like
Innocent people.
yeah, innocent people. Yeah.
Now,
Other than a bus driver, we hit with the
so you talk about 16, you're in the streets, you're doing illegal stuff. Drug use or alcohol use. What do you think like any substances played in your activities or your behavior then?
I could say in a way it did. I smoked weed a lot. I was sipping syrup here and there. Of course, we were drinking too at the age of 16 and stuff like that. So,
OD?
no, I wasn't no OE guy.
Old fashions?
Yeah. No, actually, I remember one time, me and my friends, of course, we wasn't old enough to buy liquor, so we went to the speakeasy. We bought a gallon of corn liquor.
What corn?
Corn liquor. So we drank our corn liquor and stuff, and we had a little party with a couple girls and stuff like that. We just mixed it with soda. We called it a night.
So what happened with school?
I was going to say the same thing. What happened in school? What age?
All right, so in school, like I said, from 2nd to 8th grade, I went to St. Martin's on 23rd and Lehigh, not too far from me. And that's when the incident happened with my grandma, my uncle, and my cousin. So right then and there, I was being bad, everything, whatever you want to consider it. I eventually graduated and went to Cardinal Doherty on like 2nd and Godfrey.
Now, what type of school was that? A charter school?
It was
or
a
private?
Catholic school.
Catholic school? Okay.
Yeah, that was a Catholic school as well. Graduated and went there. And I just was taking everything for granted. My grandparents paid $5,800 for that year for me to go to school. I took it for granted. I still was fighting and stuff like that. I didn't know how to deal with or channel anything the stuff that I was going through or I've been through.
Is that 9th grade?
Yeah, that was 9th grade. So
what was your last year of school? Did you finish or?
Yeah, I finished school. So 10th grade, around 10th grade is like probably around the end of 10th grade, I'm going to say. Well, I went to Cardinal Doherty, 9th grade. I went to Roxborough my 10th grade year. 11th grade year is I did 14 months in placement. I got my GED, but I wanted to go back to high school and get my diploma, so I turned it in for credits and graduated from Roxborough and got my diploma.
So you're all the way up to about 18 years old now, right?
What did you go to placement for? What was that?
Oh, man. You wouldn't believe. You know the famous quote, everybody say they didn't do it. So so we went to the year after I went to Cardinal Doherty, we went up and they say play the letouts, all the kids and people around our age. So
Play the letouts?
Yeah, so that's basically like when a school get let out, we all went up there, you know what I'm saying? To talk to the girls and stuff like that. Yeah, so long story short, like 3 of my friends that I was with, I just see them punching on this guy and running in his pockets. So I swear to God, I literally run over there and ask him, like, what the hell are they doing? I get the guy's stuff back, which was only a school trespass and $1. I give him his stuff back. Out of nowhere, all of these cops come from everywhere. The cops come. The guy actually said when he was on the ground, I kicked him. So I got arrested with all of my friends, too. We all got arrested.
Was that your first time in being arrested?
Yup, that was my first time. My mom picked me up and smacked the shit out. Excuse my language.
So you did 14 months in placement for that?
Yup, 14 months in placement in Glen Mills.
And then after that, what else transpired for to put you behind bars for a little bit? I know. Is that like a fast forward from
No, I think
18, or is that
I
like?
think it's there's a gap between. I'm not sure you graduated high school and then you went to prison. I'm going to say you got locked up when 24.
Yeah, but all right, so there was a gap. So I went to Glen Mills. Like I said, I lost my mom when I was in Glen Mills. I came home, and I just kind of told myself I had to stay strong for my family and my siblings.
You're the oldest.
Yeah, I'm the oldest.
Of how many? Yeah, I was gonna say of how many.
2 younger brothers and 1 younger sister.
Okay.
Yeah, so I told myself I had to stay strong for them. I was in Glen Mills, like, trying to learn stocks and taking college prep classes after I got my GED and stuff like that. So I tried to attend. After I came from Glen Mills, I went to high school, graduated. I attended community college for a little bit, but I told myself it was, like, too much like high school. I had people from high school sitting next to me, the professor keep telling me, yo, quiet down. So it was like, yeah, it was kind of like that. I'm getting out of here. I seen people making money in my neighborhood. So I went to the streets and I'm like, F college.
Yeah.
How were they making money?
Selling drugs.
Selling drugs.
Yeah, so I said F college, dropped out of community, and I turned to the streets again after I came home from Glen Mills. I was like around 19 years old when I caught my case. Yeah, I was like 19. I was 19 years old. I caught my case, and my family bailed me out. I had a $100,000 bail. My
Now
family
that's
bailed me
for
out.
the case you recently that you went upstate for.
Yeah, that's for the case that I went upstate for. So I was out on bail all of that time. I was on bail all of that time up to, what was that, 22 years old?
And what happened? Like you said, he went upstate. What
Yeah.
was,
So what? If you don't mind.
No good. Yeah.
What transpired you to be like? What happened for you to get arrested? What did you end up doing?
I wound up shooting a guy.
Okay.
Yeah, I wound up shooting a guy.
And what did they charge you with?
They charged me with attempted murder.
Attempted murder. You got locked up. What are you thinking like when you're charged with attempted murder?
Oh man, I was for one, I couldn't believe it. This was like the toughest guy in the world that he told him.
Yeah.
But for two, it was like all different types of stuff was running through my mind. Like, I don't know, I never like been locked up as an adult. I never seen like, you know what I'm saying? As far I didn't never know as far as a lawyer. I didn't know about preliminary stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that just everything just came at me like 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, and you're sitting there. You got bailed out immediately, or did you have to get a bail reduction or anything like that?
No, I sat for 4 days and then I got bailed out.
Okay.
I just want to like back up a little bit. Like, how do you end up shooting someone? Like, what does that? Like, is it a fight? Like,
it basically was like like I said before, it was like I didn't do anything unless we mutually knew that we had a problem with each other, and it was that kind of thing.
okay.
Yeah, it was that kind of
Now,
thing.
was it over female, drugs, territory?
Yeah,
looks?
basically just, you know what I'm saying, just younger guys. We all thought we was just like super tough and stuff like that. That
Yeah.
kind of thing. Yeah.
So a lot of ego and pride involved.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of ego and pride. Yeah.
So you go upstate for how long?
5 years. Oh man. So I don't even want to skip to that part yet. So when I was out on bail, I was locked up for 4 days. That seemed like it was 4 years.
Oh, you were locked up. So you were locked up for the shooting, and then you got out.
On house
Yeah.
arrest.
Oh, okay.
No, not on house
bail.
arrest.
Oh, on bail.
On
On
bail.
bail.
I was out on bail. Yeah.
Wow,
Wow.
okay.
My fourth
Yeah.
day locked up. I was out on bail.
On attempted murder.
On
Yeah,
attempted
attempted murder.
And they
Yeah.
had a gun. Or no gun was found.
No gun was found.
Okay.
It just was my name and my picture was circled, my juvenile picture.
They had a subpoena for whatever the case was.
Yeah, they had a body warrant.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, they had a body warrant.
So 4 days out.
4 days out. Those couple months after me being arrested, it was like, I'm done with the streets, but I still was in the environment, so it kind of didn't change. You know what I'm saying? I still was like basically in tune with what was going on. Like I just forgot that everything that was happening. Like that I was out on bail, so.
Do you get street cred for that? Like, is that like really like when you look back on it, like were you more of the man since you did that, or is it like?
In a way, to some people.
At that
Right.
time, the people you
Yeah,
were
at
around.
that time, yeah. I mean, everybody had the same mindset, so things like that can make you kind of consider like the man and stuff like that, depending on who's looking at the situation.
He's a shooter.
Yeah, stuff
Yeah,
like
right.
that.
He's a
You feel
demon.
me?
Yeah.
So, I got locked up again after that. I'm at my friend's video shoot out on bail. I got locked up for 5 grams of weed. 5 grams of weed.
Personal.
Yeah, I was rolling up. The cops pulled up, found weed in my pocket. I'm thinking like it's just weed. So, but they actually locked me up.
Charged you,
for it.
arrested you, took you in, processed you.
Yeah.
Would they give you a bail or citation?
Yeah, they gave me a bail. I think my bail was $1,000.
And they granted the bail even after you were out on another bail.
Yeah, they gave me $1,000. Yeah.
Do
'cause it
they
was a
lift
weed.
those charges nowadays since weed's legal?
Nah. Well,
Is there like a
Mr.
process now that?
yeah. Well, eventually down the line, when I was sitting in CFCF, I wound up beating the case.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. So I'm still not done yet. After that, I wound up catching another case in 2014, and for selling PCP. Yeah, for selling PCP.
So you went to jail and you were scared for your life, right? You're like, damn, I might get 20 years for an attempted murder.
yeah.
They let you go home.
Mm-hmm.
You're on parole. You're,
No.
I mean, you're on. I'm sorry. You're on out on bail.
Yeah, out on bail.
You're hanging around people that are still doing illegal shit. You end up having weed on you.
Yeah.
Get locked up for that again,
Yeah.
and then you go back to sell PCP,
Yeah.
and there's no conscious thoughts of like any consequences of this, or you're just not even thinking at that point of consequences.
It was, but you know, just like anything else, you like when you have that mentality, you smoking weed, you're young. Like I said, this was between the ages of 19 and 22. Like I wasn't thinking. I had a conscience, but at the same time, it was just like I'm going to do this. Everybody around me literally was doing it, and it was like I don't know, man. It just was
So
like,
if you weren't doing it, how would you be viewed by your peers? Like if you weren't doing this stuff, if you did the right thing, and you know, because you're doing it now, right?
Yeah.
As older though, but if you would have did it then, how would you have been viewed by your peers?
all right, so
And I'm sure there's people that around you that were, you know, doing the right thing. How did you view them at the time? If that's even a better example.
or were there people around you doing the right thing? Because typically, I feel like you know, people are doing the same things, hanging together. So normally, if you have 4 guys selling drugs, the 5th guy is normally not a stockbroker.
Yeah.
He's probably selling drugs. So I don't know, like, was there people around you, or was everyone just doing the same exact stuff?
I still, to this day, I still have a couple buddies that I went to Catholic school with that was like doing the right thing, but they wasn't people who I was around every day. It might be from time to time, I might hang with them like once or twice out of the month, but it wasn't like a everyday thing, like the people who actually lived in my neighborhood. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, so
So how'd that go? So you got a open case for marijuana, open case for attempted murder, open case for PCP. So
Um, I, me again thinking I'm going to get another bail. They revoked my bail. My lawyer told me that basically I was he was going to get me home on house arrest and stuff like that, which never happened.
I mean, do you blame them for keeping you?
No,
Never.
absolutely not.
Yeah.
It was like I was spitting in their face. Absolutely not. You mean? I
At
was
the time,
reckless.
did you though? At the time, where you probably just couldn't understand it, right?
At the time, I was like, "Yo, I gotta get the fuck out of here."
Right,
You know what
yeah,
I'm
right.
saying? I wasn't thinking like how I think now. I was like, "Man, I need to get home." Like, you know what I'm saying? They feeding us these hard beans,
Hockey pucks.
Australian running bird on Sundays. I'm like, I need to get home. I wasn't thinking like that.
Now, Lil,
You know what I'm saying?
did you ever trade your whole tray for 2 cookies? Don't
No,
lie.
no. I bought other people's trays with 2 soups. Yeah, but nah, I know.
So Lo, you get to a point now to where
You can't get out.
Yeah, you're stuck. Like you're in the neighborhood, product of the environment, as they say, right? Like that's stuck. Then what happens?
What when I was locked up?
Yeah. So before we get to like you said, like before we got to the major case and the time that you did, we got to that now. So now you're, I guess, that last thing that Frank mentioned about like them spitting you, or he said spitting in their face. Like, are you now incarcerated?
Yeah, I was incarcerated. I was on State Road on CFCF.
Okay.
Yeah, I was on CFCF.
How long?
I'm gonna say like 20 something months. Wow. Yeah, probably like 20 something months, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how long? So you got locked up, and we keep going back, but you got locked up for the attempted murder.
Yeah.
We charge PCP charge. What was the span in there? As far as was it, you got out 3 months later, 3 months later, or was it a week later?
Like I said, all of this. No, it wasn't like a week later and stuff like that. It seemed like it was actually like once a year. The 3 years that I was home.
Yeah. So how long were you fighting your case for in total, the attempted murder, and how long were you fighting your case for while sitting in CFCF?
So I got charged with the attempted murder in 2011. I don't think I went upstate till 2016 or 2017.
Yeah. So
Yeah, they offered me. Well, my judge was saying that they was going to give me 57 years, 47 years for the attempted murder, and 10 years probation for the PCP because I beat the weed case while I was in
Yeah.
CFCF.
So when they told you 57 years, what was going through your mind?
Um,
Did you think like, no way, or were you like, they might?
The main thing that was going through my mind was just me being selfish. Like when I heard my grandma crying behind me and stuff like that, it was like, what the F am I doing? You know what I'm saying? That was the main thing that was going through my brain, through my head. And the reason I went to community college was because I wanted to stay home with my family and be there for my siblings and my grandma and my grandpop and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But I always wanted to go away to like Florida State. I always wanted to go somewhere in Florida for college. But I stayed because I told myself, like, I want to be there for my family. And then in turn, I wound up doing dumb stuff and still leaving my family.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it was like I should have just left and you know what I'm saying? Instead of staying.
You went to state pen.
Yeah, instead of putting Steve. Yeah. So it was like, yeah, in turn I still love
Did you have a lawyer?
Yeah, I had a lawyer.
Who was your lawyer?
Gerald Stein.
Okay.
Yeah, which was like, I think it was kind of washed up to me at the time. He was more like my dad. He was always my dad lawyer. Always beating cases for my dad and stuff like that.
So who paid for the lawyer at this time? Because you're locked up and you're in and out of jail. If you are making money, it's you're losing it all real quick.
Yeah, my family.
Family helped you out with a lawyer.
Yeah.
So, what were the deals coming in before you took your final deal?
I think the first deal after the judge told me what he told me was 6 to 12.
6 to 12.
Yeah, it was 6 to 12. Yep. It was 6 to 12 years.
So
Yeah.
you took the 6 to 12, and then, or you took a different deal?
No, I didn't take the 6 to 12. I told my lawyer, I asked him, can you negotiate a better deal?
Yeah.
Then they came back with 5.5 to 15, and I'm like, well, I'll do the 5 to 10. I don't want that long of a tail on parole. I said I'll do the 5 to 10 and just we could do the separate 5 years probation,
Okay.
and that's what I wound up doing.
So you got 5 to 10, 5 years probation.
Yeah.
So now you're getting ready to go up. You're getting ready to go up top.
Mm-hmm.
So transitioning from county to state, which I've done, just a little bit about that experience of like being like extremely locked down, people not really caring and being reckless because, you know, they don't know what's happening in the county. You know, it's really, really overcrowded and everything's accessible in the county. So now take us from, you know, going from state road, CFCF, county prison to now going to state prison.
So hold on, one quick question while you're saying it. So you were in state road, CFCF for 20 some months.
Yeah.
Did you learn anything there?
No, and state road, you don't learn anything there. So everybody's running wild. I was still getting high in there. We had cell phones. I didn't learn anything in there. You know what I'm saying? I was still smoking weed.
It's crazy.
Stuff like that.
Because for me, CFCF and state road is still like the streets.
Yeah,
Like
it
you're
is.
still you're just like you're locked down though with police walking by all day. It's
Right.
still like the streets though, without females. But
Yeah.
it's
So
still
you learned nothing there.
you got to watch over your shoulder still.
No.
You have to, you know, you still got that ego and pride. You have to have it in there because you can't get especially in the county, you can't get preyed upon as like weak because you're not going to get on the phone. They're not going to let you out your cell. You're not going to have any movement in there.
Yeah.
So I feel like state road and the county is still kind of more closer to the streets than upstate is.
Absolutely. Upstate is a little different because you got people that even if they have life, they don't want to mess up the way they're living and get sent to another jail or anything. So it's more of them chilling and stuff like that.
So on the transition, you're at Graterford?
Yeah, Graterford.
So how was that?
Were you nervous going there?
Not so much as far as anybody doing anything to me because, like I said, majority of the people in my environment was doing the same thing I was doing, and
about
majority
adapting.
of them was kind of there.
You hear these glory stories that like you want to go upstate, you don't want to stay in the county, so you're like looking forward to going upstate to getting the TV. The commissary's cheaper, the food's better.
Yeah.
So people glorify
more freedom.
more freedom.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
workout
walk the
machines and
child.
all.
Yeah, so-
they don't bring the trays to your door. You walk through a chow hall. So people like they want to go upstate. They rather do 2 to 4 upstate than 24 months in the county.
So during all like that time, do you ever like reflect back as you're in jail saying, damn, I had all that freedom. Like, do you ever get that aha moment or is it still just moving forward with the day to day?
What do you mean? Like, as far as going upstate,
No, like when you were in jail, like, did you ever look back as you were in jail and say, man, like I had all that freedom, like where you would appreciate like a good cheesesteak to where like you can't get any of that stuff anymore? Or is it just not even like a thought?
Yeah, it's absolutely a thought, Tone. I mean, everything, like the food, people telling you when you can use the bathroom, when you can wash. If you're locked down, they got up to 72 hours to keep you in the cell without giving you a shower. So all of those things, like just you in the cell probably with some guy that you never even knew before, probably was like homeless or anything, a fiend, anything on the streets, and man, y'all both in the cell stinking because the jail's locked down. You can't wash up for 72 hours. So all of that played a toll on my mind. And the first thing I told myself was like, I gotta like find a way to change, like my mindset. So
Now, was it a particular conversation you had with somebody? Was it somebody that was in the jails that you seen coming through? Was it a family member? Was it a book? Was it something the CO told you? Because I remember for me, we were doing something in the chow hall, acting immature, like I'm in my mid to late 20s, and the CEO said something like, pull me aside, like, you're going to keep acting like this after you're already here? Like, when are you going to get it, dude? And then he just let me go, and that's stuck in my head, like, damn, he's right. Like, I'm still here acting like an immature little kid.
Right.
So that was it for me. I was just wondering if you had, like, that moment.
It wasn't a particular moment. It was moments
Okay.
for me. It was a bunch of different things. It was like a crazy reality check. I just kept hearing my mom's voice was like, you don't want to end up like your uncles, because my uncles did time before. And it was like, you don't want to end up like them. I kept hearing her voice.
So how about, like, when everyone else is getting commissary, you're not getting commissary that day, or when you're making these phone calls and no one's answering? Like, for me, that's another thing that did it too. It's like, I have to rely on people for my happiness, or
That too. That's another moment too. Broken promises. People be like, "Oh, I'm going to send you $50 this day," and then you filling out a whole commissary slip, and you like, "Damn, with my commissary, they like you ain't had no money on your books."
it's embarrassing, and it's like
Yeah.
you feel like you do a lot for people out here. For me, anyway.
Yeah,
like you
yeah,
do a lot for
yeah.
people out here. It's like, you couldn't send me the measly $50. Now
Yeah,
I'm
from
like,
risking your life for people to everything, like,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And
tough.
it's like, dang, when I get in this situation, that you're literally like
but
treated like you're dead.
exactly, like,
Yeah.
out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
And what did it for me was, I'm getting mad at people for not doing something for me when it's my own fault that I'm in here.
Right.
So I should be mad at myself.
Right.
That's what really made me change too. It's like, why am I mad at them for doing something for me when if I wasn't in here, I wouldn't be asking anybody for a favor or help.
That comes with accountability. That's the part in life where you start maturing.
Right.
Accountability. Like, people mature at different ages. Some are 18, some are 28, some are 58. But, like, when you start having those thoughts, it's the accountability. It's like, wow, okay, I'm here because of me, not because of so-and-so.
Right.
So you were just starting to say prior to us asking, so you were leaving CFCF, going to Greatersford, and that was for how many years? So now you're leaving CFCF to go to Greatersford for how many years?
It was more so like, Greatersford was more like a intake, you know what I'm saying, for upstate.
Okay.
So it wasn't like your set jail
like a
where
first
you
stop.
was going to do your time at.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like a first stop. So I maybe like, you know, they take your blood work, everything. So maybe like around a month, I think I was in Greatersford. Yeah, and then I think I did about a month or 2 months in Camp Hill.
And that Camp Hill is a jail where you get classified.
Yeah, basically like another transition jail to figure out what jail you're going to go to.
So for anyone listening, Camp Hill is, they're doing like a mental health evaluation. They're doing a background check. They're seeing if you're in any gangs. Because what they do from Camp Hill is there's 29 jails in the state of Pennsylvania. So what they try to do is distribute everyone equally. So there isn't all blacks in one jail, isn't all whites in one jail, isn't all rapists in one jail,
Right.
isn't all lifers in one jail. They try to distribute it evenly. And plus, like, more high-risk crimes are going to get sent to a more maximum security jail. So you got assigned to what jail after that at Camp Hill?
Actually, I got assigned to Somerset, SEI Somerset.
I didn't know that.
So I was supposed to go to Somerset, and a CEO, I asked him where was I going, and he told me. So on a walk back to my block after I took all of my belongings down and packed everything up to go to Somerset the following day, I seen somebody that I knew from the neighborhood, and I'm like, bro, I'm out. I'm leaving. You know what I'm saying? And he like, where you going? I'm like, I'm going to Somerset. And it was a CEO on a walk from my block. And he was like, come here. And I'm like, what's up? He like, what's your name and stuff? How you know where you're going? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, man. I'm like, I just guessed. Like, what do you mean? He like, no, you didn't. Such and such told you. So come to find out, it was like a thing where the person had told me was dealing with somebody who he dealt with or something. The CO was dealing with a girl, and it was kind of like a jealousy thing where he was trying to get the CO in trouble. You know what I'm saying? So
what? They're not allowed to tell you where you're going.
Yeah, they're not allowed to tell you where you're going because they said it's like an escape risk.
Okay.
Like you can call somebody and have them waiting for the bus, and that's what he told me. He like, it never happened before in Pennsylvania, but it happened in California twice before, so we don't know if this is going to happen or this is what you're planning to do. I'm like, come on, man. So he took down my information. The next morning, they still called my name and my state number to go to Somerset.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, I'm out. Like, bet.
Was that
like,
easier or something? Was it what Somerset? Was it easier than the other places? Nicer?
It was kind of, would you say, like a lower custody than Forest, right? I think Forest was a maximum security.
Forest was maximum security, and Somerset's like an older jail. With these older jails, there's like more freedom. Like you're not locked down all the time. It's like an old school type jail where
So you were looking forward to going there.
Yeah, I was looking. I wasn't looking.
I mean, putting it that way, but
I was looking forward to going there in a way because I had a couple buddies from my neighborhood that I grew up with that was there too. You know what I'm saying? And they was waiting for me, so it was like, man, I'm about to go to Somerset.
have a honey bun waiting on your bow. And
Man, knock it off.
Nah, so Somerset, you're getting ready to go.
Yeah.
So you think?
Yeah, so I think I'm cool. Everything's green. I wake up in the morning. You know, when you're getting transferred from jail to jail, they shackle your wrist to your waist and shackle both of your ankles together. So I'm like, all right, I'm getting on the bus. I'm in line. I just heard the lieutenant like, who's MK Martin? Like right here. They like, take his shit off the bus. He's going back to the block. I'm like, oh, man. I was sick. So as soon as I get back on the block with my box and my belongings, guess who's on the block? That's CO. You know what I'm saying? He's like, yeah, man, like, I'm sorry, but I had to pull you off. I don't know if you were going to try to escape or anything. I'm like, oh, man. So I'm going to say probably like a couple days later, probably like 3 to 4 days later, I was in Camp Hill. And then they rerouted me and told me I was going to SCI Forest.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you go to SCI Forest. How much, you did 2 years in the county over 2 years. You did a couple months in Greater for a couple months in Camp Hill. What's your time left off till your minimum because you're not guaranteed to come home when you're minimum.
Yeah.
How much time's left till your minimum at this point when you land at SCI Forest?
I think it was 2017. I went up there, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say like 2 years.
So you had 2 years to do.
Yeah.
So you get 2017. You're trying to come home on your minimum 2019.
Yeah.
What was your mindset of? I'm trying to get out here on my minimum, right? That's what everyone wants to do. You don't want to sit in there longer than you have to.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure you know of people following rules and still not making their minimum.
Mm-hmm.
So what was your mindset then? Like, how were you going to change, or did you even have to change? Did you just have to do it for parole? What was your thoughts going?
So my mindset was that I had to change, period, anyway. So I didn't want to waste the time that I was doing in there and just let time go by. So I started reading. I forgot who let me know about this. This school was called Stratford Career Institute, in which they'll send my textbooks and my quizzes and my tests and everything through the mail. And basically, I could take a business management class. Uh-huh. And that's what I did. I took a business management class while I was locked up. So they sent my textbook. I'll take my test, fold it up, send it in the mail, send it back, and they'll send it back with it graded and stuff like that. Yeah, so I took a business management class. I read.
Name a few books if anyone's listening. That you think would help you out that could help someone else.
Oh man, I mean, the most notable that really changed my thought process, the famous Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
that
the first book I read. Well, one of the first, yeah.
Yeah, that changed my mindset a lot. Think and Grow Rich changed my mindset a lot. Those are the top two. Okay. I mean, I know they're like well spoken about from everybody, but yeah, those changed my mindset a whole lot. Yeah, those two books.
So did you see anything upstate that was like, damn, this is what jail's like, as far as like, was there violence? Was there still drugs? Was there gangs? Like, what type of things did you see up there that?
Oh, man, upstate was kind of like a big difference from the county. There was a big influence of different gangs up there.
Okay.
You know, it was like, and I never really actually been around like Bloods and Crips and, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. What was it, 215? The 215
Yeah.
guys, everybody from Kensington.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that. I never been around that before, so it was like, what the hell? And then it was like, oh man, another thing that deterred me was like, man, I can't come back here. Was actually seeing guys like just walk around with, I don't know, like with breasts and stuff. And I'm like, man, I'm not judging nobody what they're into, but I'm like, you know what I'm saying?
So you seen men with breasts walking around.
Walking around with another guy with their hand in their back pocket, sharing ice cream and stuff. And I'm like, what the hell?
That's reality. Up
You
there.
mean? Yeah. And it's like I said, I'm not judging anybody for what they're into, but that wasn't something that I wanted to be around.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
The guys that you were hanging with in jail, so they're all trying to get their life together for when they get out of jail. Is that?
Majority were some guys that I knew from when I grew up and stuff like that. And yeah, majority were like guys that, some of them were like guys that I didn't see in like 10 years since we were like kids. They were upstate all that time. You know what I'm saying? So some people I still interacted with that didn't have the mindset, but for the most part, majority of my day consists of people that had the same mindset as me.
It's kind of interesting because when you were getting in trouble, it was the people that had the same mindset as you.
Right.
And then when you do good, it's the people that have the same mindset as you. So see what your environment does.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Pretty powerful.
Yeah, and it got to the point where like I wanted to start teaching like people that didn't have the mindset as me, like to have the same mindset as me. So like the guys from my neighborhood and stuff like that wasn't thinking like me, I was like, bro, like you can do this and invest in stocks. And man, I have a friend to this day I talk to every day almost, and I made him $5,000 in stocks from $100 from in jail. You know what I'm saying? And
you did?
Yeah, I did. I
What
told
are you
him
doing
to
later?
Yeah, I told him to. I read the paper. I seen that Aston Martin was going public. I told him to invest into Aston Martin. I'm like, even if you just buy the shares were $20 a piece. So even if you buy like $100 worth, you know what I'm saying? Just trust me, bro. See how it go. Next thing you know, they all went up to $1,000 a share.
Wow.
Yeah, he made, you know what I'm
Did
saying?
he give you money?
No, he didn't give me no money. I ain't want any
So-
money. I just was happy that he seen that it was another way to make money than what we came from.
Right.
And that made me feel good. You know what I'm saying?
That's awesome.
Yeah, that made me feel good.
So you're learning about stocks. You're learning about credit. I'm sure. Real estate. You said Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah.
So you're just going on this journey of self development and learning.
Right.
Now you're there for 2 years. You said.
Yeah, a little over 2 years, I'm going to say.
So you're
A little over 2
when
years.
you're winding down on a year, like you're anticipating coming home now. You know, hopefully I'm doing everything right. I'm anticipating meeting my minimum. What is your like plan to get ready to be released at this point, if you even had one?
It was it was a couple different things, and I think that was my biggest problem by not focusing on one, getting that like where it needs to be first, and just like spreading my attention to all different things that I had planned instead of taking steps.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So of course I wanted to cook. Of course I wanted to do real estate. My family gave me property, so I'm like, I'm gonna do real estate as well. So, you know what I'm saying? It was, I just, like I said, I didn't take it step by step how I wanted to.
So you were doing good in prison. You were end up on an honor block, right?
Yeah.
In a dog program. Did you
Yeah.
have it? So you're like gradually getting into the mind of like, this is almost over.
Yeah.
Was there, for me, I know, was there any stress or anxiety or anticipation building up that you didn't know how to deal with, or an unfamiliar feeling that kept coming that was like, damn, this is really about to happen?
Yeah, it was like, first of all, those after I got my green sheet, it was like days
What's a
left.
green sheet?
Green
I
sheet.
was going to say the same thing.
All right, yeah. So The green sheet is basically after you see parole and they give you the go ahead to go home, like your home plan and everything's been approved.
They're releasing you.
Yeah, they're releasing you from prison. So after I got my green sheet, those days that was left seemed longer than my whole 5 years. Like I couldn't believe it. Like time moved like so slow, man. It was like, damn, like hurry up and let me home. What if they change their mind? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then finally that day came and it was like my sister was hugging me, crying, my little brother, and I'm like, we could hug in the car. Like, come on, we going. Let's get out of here. I want to go eat some real food, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
You get released.
A few quick things. So before you're going home, are you thinking to yourself while you're there, like, I can't go back to the same guys. I can't go back to, like, you thinking that stuff? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. I was thinking that stuff too as well. Of course, sometimes it's kind of hard to cut like your friends off, but you still like what
Distance.
like you know what I'm saying. You could deal with them to a certain extent, to the point that you don't have to interact with what they're doing. You know,
were they your friends? Like, if you look back on it, like, so when you were away, were they visiting you, sending you money, calling you, or receiving your calls?
Yeah, the guys that I came home and talked to, they did.
Okay.
Yeah, pictures, sent me money, put phone time on the phone. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it was sometimes that.
Now, were those guys still in the streets, the ones that were looking out for you when you came home? Are they still doing the same stuff? Like, because you could be a good person and have good intentions as far as they were sending me money, sending me pictures. They rode the bid out with me.
Yeah.
But when you came home, are they still doing the same stuff from before, too? Or did they change their life around? Because, you know,
It wasn't.
you could be a good guy and do all this stuff and look out for you and still not have, like, you know, be living life the right way.
Yeah, so I'm gonna just say it wasn't as how it was when before. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of like everybody grew up and had families.
Yeah.
So the senseless stuff that we used to be doing and stuff like that, it was different. It wasn't the same. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So you were saying you were getting ready to say, so you were looking forward to coming home and all the good stuff. So you get home now, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's the first thing you're thinking of? Like, what's your first meal?
Oh man, I think I stopped at Sheets on the way home, and I just wanted to get like some real French fries and stuff like that. I stopped at Sheets, and it was like, oh man, I think I got like 3 different things on the menu. And it's crazy because
It's such a weird feeling. Like when you're driving, it's a 6-hour drive where we were at. It's just such you feel it's like an out of body experience.
Yeah.
Like this can't be happening.
Yeah, seriously. It's like oh man. It's like you couldn't believe it. What Dorothy said, she was going down the yellow brick road. That's how I felt. I'm like, man, I'm out of here. Like, it was crazy. So I just loaded up on snacks, loaded up on like 3 different meals from Sheets. And I'm like, come on, we're home. Of course, I tell my grandma I don't want to have like nothing, no type of anything. Next thing I know, the grill's fired up. She got all the family out there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's what that turned into. And
now, were you dead set on this mindset when you came home? Like, I'm not messing around. Like, you're set on, like, I'm doing the right thing.
Right.
Now, were you, obviously, temptations? You go back to Strawberry Mansion?
Yeah.
So you got temptations, you got old friends, you have old surroundings, females that you probably dealt with, you run into again.
Yeah.
How did you still stay straight with everything coming at you like you never left?
My family and the remembrance of my grandma crying in the courtroom. Damn. Yeah, that's what like that just played a tone around, and it's like, dang, my grandma and my grandfather is older now, so if I make that wrong choice and go back, then it's like I might not come home to them still being alive.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what clicked into me. And then it's like, yeah, like my family, my siblings, it's like I'm trying to show them, like, even though they seen me acting this way, I'm trying to show them, like, this is the way to go. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Being the example.
Yeah. Yeah, yup, being an example. Yup. And like all the things that I read about as far as like just changing your mindset and stuff like that, like looking back, I always like been a leader. So even with me saying like I was always a leader, but I still let my environment influence my decisions. You know what I'm saying? So I never was like peer pressured into doing anything or anything like
Well,
that. You know what I'm
it could be
saying?
like if you're hanging around three business owners and you're still a leader, but you're following what they're doing. It's
Yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
you,
It's the
you can
same
still be
thing.
a leader. You
Yeah,
were a leader in your
absolutely.
community, even though you were following the trend or following the what's cool. It's just like, you switch it up to business or to personal growth.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
It's a great story, man. It really came full circle, and it sounds like the mindset is like the driver.
Yeah.
So you indulged into a couple businesses since you've been home. How's that look? You've been home how long?
I've been home, so July 5th will be 5 years that I've been home.
5 years, and how's that look like for you? Over the past couple years.
So basically, I had a cleaning company with my sister, of course. Um, that wasn't like for me. I don't think I liked it a lot, but basically we bought into a franchise, and the route that we took, I think it kind of like it just I looked at it a different way by basically the people that we were dealing with.
Okay.
Yeah, so I looked at it a different way by going through a franchise. You know what I'm saying? I cook as far as a food truck and stuff like that.
So you had a food truck?
Yeah, I still do.
Okay.
I still do. Yeah, I have a food truck. Yep, it's actually parked in my lot.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And so you went from the cleaning business to the food truck. Was there anything in between?
See, that was like I said before. That was kind of my problem. I think I was just spreading myself too thin and not focusing on one thing at one time. And then once that became all the way successful, then you know what I'm saying. Start focusing on the next thing. I was doing everything at once. So I was cooking. I was doing a cleaning company on top of like the properties, like stuff like that. I was like all over the place.
Right.
And that's what I learned. I mean, you know what I'm saying? A failure is nothing but a lesson. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Any other business ventures or anything like that?
I sold clothes. I had a clothing line with my cousin.
So you're just hustling, like anything that's legal, I'm
Right.
doing it and I'm hustling.
Right.
Was there a store that you had invested in?
Yeah,
or
also 24 hour.
24 hours.
Yeah, that 24 hours basically like convenience stores that's like coming up all around North Philly, sell vapes, stuff like that.
And what happened with that?
Like I said, it was just like I was all over the place. I was still cooking, still doing the cleaning company,
Yeah.
everything at once. And it's like, I'm just telling myself like,
You didn't give anything enough time to really grow
exactly, because
before you stepped into something else.
I look at it now like, excuse me. I look at it now like the sun. Like the sun is in the sky. It doesn't burn you like how it would if you put a magnifying glass right there and direct the sunlight onto whatever you're looking at. You know what I'm saying? That magnifying glass will burn from the sun right.
Focused right on it,
Exactly.
yeah.
But the sun just in the sky is not going to burn you. And that was my problem. I didn't have the magnifying glass on one specific thing. I was just like the sun. I was like everywhere. You know what I'm saying? I was all over the place. I wasn't focused on one thing. And that was my problem. Yeah, that was my problem. Yeah.
So you're involved in a nonprofit
Yeah, nonprofit.
right now. To what's this? 2024. When did you start with the nonprofit?
I've been doing this for about a year now. So what happened is one of my buddies from school, St. Martin's, I met him in like the second grade. We've been friends ever since. He basically went through the same process as me, was caught up in the streets, you know what I'm saying, went upstate, came home, changed his life around. He wanted to give back to the community. He told me the work he was doing. I'm like, bro, come on, like, I'm with it. Like I'm all with it. You know what I'm saying? Like if I can help change, especially like what these kids is doing nowadays,
Yeah.
it's crazy. So it's like I'm all with it. Like I'm gonna help you. So time went by. Then eventually he came to me. Well, we had brunch. He like, let's talk. We sat down, talked, and he told me like, this what we gonna do, bro. It's gonna be Area 32 based on the 19132 zip code where we're from. And you know what I'm saying? We're gonna take off with it, and that's what I did.
So
What did I do though? What I'm sorry. What does the nonprofit do? So
That's what I was
do you-
gonna ask.
All right, so Area 32, we basically just sign the kids up for different things to cut down on leisure time.
okay, like
Basketball,
Okay.
we have free therapy,
okay.
and everything is free. You know
So
what
is
I'm
this
saying?
just directed towards the youth, or is there things you do for the community or elderly, or
So majority of the things our target market is the youth, but the therapy and everything else is like available for the elderly and stuff like that. We have basically street cleaning where we'll bring flower pots and stuff like that with the solar lights at nighttime for whoever wants them to make the block look nicer and things like that as well too.
so you're helping the youth, you're helping the community. What is this doing for you? And you know what you used to do is terrorize the community,
Yeah.
and you know influence the youth negatively.
Yeah.
To now you're influencing the youth positively, and you're helping grow and better the community. How does that make you feel?
Oh man, it make me feel amazing. Um,
Because some
Growing up,
people, go ahead.
growing up, it never was nobody like around my age that still like knew like the younger guys and the older guys and was like doing the right thing. Majority of people was like in the streets and stuff like that. So
Even at your age today, in their 30s.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I felt like what I'm doing right now is like I'm basically trying to make it cool to not be absent minded. You know what I'm saying? To think, to not do dumb stuff, to show these young boys like it's another route to go. Like it's different, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know you personally. There's other people you grew up with that know you, but when someone's like looking at you and they see a person of color that has felonies, attempted murders on their record, and you know you get judged for your history, for your skin color.
Yeah.
What do you do to like not really let that affect you negatively? Because you know in America, in the world, in your neighborhood, you're going to get judged, right? And it's going to be even worse now that you have you know a criminal record. And
Yeah.
so what do you do to like stay away from that and the negative thoughts and the negative people? And
Yeah. It's crazy, bro, because like whenever I encounter something like that, like I remember me and you, we went out and I think we tried to go to like a pub or something like that. And when we walked in, it was like everybody stopped what they were doing and they were staring at us. And it was like you didn't pay attention to it, but I'm paying attention because it's like I'm the only black guy. Everybody just staring at it like what the hell are they doing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we had the conversation as far as like me having a victim mindset. And I thought about that, bro. And I thought about that, like maybe I do have a victim mindset in a way, but I still do realize that, you know what I'm saying, that profiling and stuff is real.
still exists, yeah.
It still exists. So it's like I try to take my mindset out of not having a victim mindset, like you told me, but also I'm still aware of profiling as well, bro. So the way I deal with it is like I try not to put myself in situations where like that'll happen. It's kind of hard because you can't say like, yo, I'm going to the store. They might look at me somewhere, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, I don't know. I don't know. It's like coping skills that I try to develop, bro, to just get away from it. Because I know it's like,
Yeah, because you can't feed into it because there's not no positive outcome when you feed into it. So if you see someone staring at you,
yeah.
and it's because of your skin color, or you know, you're looking. But if you look back at them and like, and you're staring at them, like, what are you looking at? then it's going to cause some conflict, right? And then now you're
Yeah.
in a position to defend yourself, or somebody's disrespecting you.
Yeah.
So it got to be tough.
Yeah. It is tough.
And we put the shoe on the other foot too. Don't forget that day. And I was like, what if I'm walking in your neighborhood, which is
Yeah.
predominantly black, and I get stared at? You said I wouldn't get looked at like any different.
I don't think you would because you with me. You feel me? I don't think you would.
I'm going to raise attention. You're going to see
I-
a white kid, blue eyes, that you don't see many white people at all walking around or in the neighborhood. It's going to draw some type of attention, negative, positive, raise interest, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it would, but it wouldn't be to the point where, like, it would be like any disrespect or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not taking like pride in anything like
Because
that
I thought,
did in the past, but I think I gained enough respect for nobody to disrespect you if they
but
see
I'm
us
saying
together.
even if I'm not with you, like this white guy walking through a neighborhood that's mostly, blacks, maybe some Spanish, but mostly blacks.
Yeah.
And they're going to look at me if I'm looking for drugs, or they're going to look at me like I'm a cop.
No, Frankie, like, some people might look at you as if you're a cop, but the way it's like, it's
The way your
different
tattoos
now.
are set up.
No. The way like it's gentrified now.
It's starting
So
to,
like people are like my neighborhood where we're from. People won't pay attention to a white person that's riding by on a bike and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't be like, you know what I'm saying? They're paying attention to somebody that has the same skin color as them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So people will reach like they're grabbing their gun and stuff for the same people, like the same skin color as them. So it wouldn't be a situation where it's like, yo, let's do something to this guy or something like that. It wouldn't be like that because people now, like I said, the way it is now, you know what I'm saying? The community is being different. Home properties and stuff like that are being bought. So it's like it's different. It's kind of normal now. You might see somebody on a skateboard riding by on their bike with their helmet and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But you wouldn't be looked at like how a black guy from not in the neighborhood would be
we're
looked
running on
at.
some time right now.
No, but yeah.
So I just want to a couple more things to talk about. Me and you and A was upstate with us. We had a conversation about this will probably raise your interest, Tone, about the uniform. What is this uniform that you were talking about? From being either upstate or from the streets. Like, what does a uniform consist of? You came up with the terminology, and then you just had to like put me hip to it.
So the uniform is basically like the way you gotta act, the way you gotta talk to be able to fit in.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Whether you're upstate or you're to consider being cool. You know what I'm saying?
It's a certain uniform you got to wear.
Yeah, exactly.
And what's like this uniform look like? Is it like your clothes? Is it a gun?
It could be
attitude?
clothes. It could be what you're getting high off. It can be your haircut. It can be your sneakers. Like
It's like I need this to do all of this to be approved to be a street dude.
right. You need this to be approved to be a street dude to get to think that you getting girls, but they're not the girls that you really want. They're probably gonna wind up setting you up, doing something to you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's the uniform. Like you gotta do these things to be able to fit in. So people don't think outside the box because they want to fit in where they're from. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They don't think like, all right, if I don't want to do this and I don't want to fit in, then let me remove myself from the environment. You know what I'm saying? If they have the means to. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah.
All right, so Lil, you got anything?
No, I thought that was pretty interesting, to be honest with you. I learned a lot more than I thought I was going to, too.
So Lil, today you're working for a nonprofit. You still got the food truck. What are a couple other things that you're doing? Obviously, you're starting a podcast, Streets of Success. Everyone tap in.
Absolutely. Tap in, Streets of Success.
And okay, you settled down. You have kids, stuff like that now too. You're a father.
Yep. I'm a
So-
father now. Yeah, man.
How many kids?
I have two now.
2?
Yeah.
Boy,
I have
girl?
two. Boy and a girl.
And how old?
3 and 2.
Okay.
Yeah. Back to back, Tom. I got them out the way.
Came home and got out of the way. That's it. Yep.
I came on shooting in a good way this time.
Yeah, so how do people follow you? How can they find you? If
they
anyone
follow
wants to
me
reach out, they might have questions for you, like, hey, how'd you change your mindset? Or they might want you to come on their podcast or something like that. So how can someone get in contact with you? Obviously, not your cell phone number, but any handles, social media, stuff like that.
My Instagram is Jalil_S2S.
Jalil?
Yeah, Jalil Beats.
Yeah, it's a wrap. Thanks for talking. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.